Welcome back to the Omaha News. I'm Jared Meyer.
And I'm Kelly Schultz. Coming up, we'll have reporter Tanner Kaler give us a story on the young woman who plays Eponine in Omaha Community Playhouse's production of Les Miserables.
Also, gang violence is a prevalent problem in the Omaha area. Reporter Brandon Mosley has more on the gang violence in the Omaha area. You're watching the Omaha News.
This is the Omaha News, presented by the School of Communication at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, from the studios of UNO Television.
Gang activity accounts for most gun deaths in large cities, and lately the number of gang members in Omaha has been on the rise. With this trend, you can expect more gang violence unless action is taken. Brandon Mosley has more on the story.
With gang violence on the rise,
2 shootings, 2 people got shot, people driving in traffic, shooting at each other.
more gang members are going from Douglas County Court to Forest Lawn Cemetery. And if they're lucky, the gang members will end up in Douglas County Jail. Gang activity in Omaha is on the rise, and more youth are joining gangs. Dupree Seaver lost a cousin to gang violence, says murder has become an initiation.
The gang members nowadays is trying to get an M, and what they call an M is a murder. They want to murder. It's like getting a job. Well, once you get hired, you happy. Once you get a murder, you happy. They satisfied. I guess that's when they quit. That's when they quit gangbanging, when they get a murder.
The Spencer Projects is an Omaha housing community that has been working with gangs for over the past 20 years, decreasing gang activity, which Director Todd Magruder says gangs are coming from the outside.
The gang activity comes from outside. The residents in general, I don't believe, have a lot of activity, but it's usually their guests and or boyfriends or just outside entities that come in and stay that are usually involved in the gang activity.
But Magruder says there's not one solution alone that will work.
I think you have to create an environment that allows for educational opportunities and also social opportunities. People have to feel they're a part of something, and I think that you have to break a cycle of intergenerational poverty.
Homicides in Omaha at the end of 2012 was 39, the youngest victim 15, and the oldest victim 64. For the Omaha News, I'm Brandon Mosley.
Yesterday morning, 2 people were shot near North 40th and Bedford Avenue in Omaha. Though no arrests have been made, police say they believe the shooting is related to gang activity.
A sophomore at Omaha North High Magnet School was arrested after he was discovered to be carrying a concealed weapon and marijuana Tuesday morning. A school officer noticed the young man smelled strongly of marijuana and escorted him to the nurse's office. When the student's backpack was searched, a disassembled rifle and gun magazine were found, along with the marijuana cigar. The student faces a year-long expulsion from school, and if he's found guilty of possession of a firearm on school grounds, he could spend up to 5 years in prison.
This is the second day people can sign up for the Affordable Care Act. The problem is that the website to sign up was not equipped to handle so many users at once. People have reported not being able to create a login account, look into the insurance plan options, or get a hold of anyone through the help hotline. The website is healthcare.gov.
From religious fundamentalists to left-wing social messages, students at Nebraska's public universities are exposed to a variety of public forums. Kelly Schultz tells us that they have a right to be there, as long as they follow a few simple rules.
He's a familiar sight to many University of Nebraska at Omaha students.
But certain damaging genes weren't present until those were the result of negative mutation.
And though his messages are not always well received,
he has the right to say what he wants to say. I am personally uncomfortable with him on a state school campus, but because it's a state school campus, it also affords him the right to be here as long as he reserves it and doesn't violate any laws.
And Greg is right. Though many students, faculty members, or campus visitors may not want to hear what Pastor Tom has to say, the First Amendment guarantees freedom of speech, especially to those who choose to use a public forum. Pastor Tom has made several appearances at UNO over the past years, and this year partnered with the on-campus Christian group, The Rock.
For me personally, I believe the same things that he does, and so I think it's important, as a Christian, to share what we believe, because that's what we're called to do by God.
Public forums, such as UNO's, are not typically moderated, but there are restrictions on what can be said or done. The First Amendment does not protect confrontational words or threats or speech that provokes violence. Obscenity and defamation are also prohibited, and many public forums must be reserved. For the Omaha News, I'm Kelly Schultz.
UNO's public forum has been used primarily by religious groups. The Westboro Baptist Church reserved the plaza back in 2010, but shied away from their appearance when students organized a counter-protest. The plaza has also been used by political groups during the campaign to recall former Mayor Suttle.
President Barack Obama has been calling the House GOP reckless for allowing the government shutdown to continue. The Republican-led House has made it clear that unless the Affordable Care Act was delayed, then a budget would not likely be accepted to allow the government to reopen. The shutdown was put into effect yesterday, resulting in over 800,000 government workers being furloughed with no idea when they will return to work. The last government shutdown was 18 years ago during the Clinton administration. It lasted 21 days.
Coming up, learn more about one of the stars of Omaha Community Playhouse production of Les Miserables.
And reporter Paul Dobler shows us what the latest Apple update brings and what users really think of the changes. You're watching the Omaha News.
PBS is the place you should go first.
There are no advertisers to be satisfied, only an audience to be satisfied.
We take our responsibility as journalists very seriously. We are constantly thinking about our viewers and what they care about.
We want to let you know what the information is, and then you decide what you want to think.
At the News Hour, we are after the facts and only the facts.
You've always known you were a leader, someone who works hard to achieve your goals. You can see it. You can see your success in front of you. You pursue a college education for the old-fashioned reasons, to learn, to make yourself more valuable, to succeed. You need a place that celebrates your ambition and positions you alongside visionary people just like you. You, my friend, belong here, the University of Nebraska at Omaha.
UNO TV invites you to take a journey around the world, to lush jungles with endangered species, to exotic lands and different cultures, to lost cities beneath the sands. Travel through time to see ancient secrets on the other side of the world, the growth of the American West, or the start of Nebraska's largest city, or just explore our state. Find out about Nebraska in World War II. Learn how Omaha has grown since. Discover the effort to renovate its green spaces, the history of one of its most impressive buildings, or look at its internationally recognized university. For over 20 years, UNO TV has produced award-winning documentaries that explore, educate, and enlighten. To find out more, call 402-554-2516 or visit unotv.unomaha.edu.
You're watching the Omaha News.
When the Omaha Community Playhouse announced it would be doing the play Les Miserables this fall, hundreds turned out for the auditions. Reporter Tanner Kaler has more on the story of one young woman who's now part of the cast.
Yeah, guys, Les Mis is a historic musical that's riveted audiences around the world for years. Interest in the play in Omaha has been extremely high, and now you get to meet one of the lead members of the play. The lights that hang above the stage at the Omaha Community Playhouse don't shine near as bright as the stars below them.
This summer when I knew that they were doing Les Mis, I was like, okay, I have to do that. I have to do Les Mis.
For 21-year-old Abby Stewart, acting wasn't something she was very accustomed to. But when the Omaha Playhouse announced it would be doing Les Miserables this fall, she auditioned.
As soon as she opened her mouth, we all just sort of gaped, and there were little notes that got passed across the production table saying, "Who is this? Do you know her? I've never seen her before."
Abby, a UNO student, plays one of the main roles of Ebony, an unfortunate woman in love with a man who doesn't love her back.
And like the last line that she gets to sing is, to love another person is to see the face of God. And that is just like one of the most beautiful lines I've ever heard from a musical.
Now, a typical musical here at the Playhouse usually rehearses for 7 weeks. Les Mis, because of all of its challenges, rehearsed for 10 weeks.
This is the beginning, and it's such a cool honor to be able to be part of, you know, OCP's biggest production that they've ever put on, you know, for first time around. So I'm really grateful for that.
Now, Abby says that she will be moving to the East Coast next year and wants to continue acting there in the hopes of building a career. Les Miserables is playing at the Omaha Community Playhouse from now until October 27th. Back to you.
Thanks, Tanner. The case against Nico Jakins continues to build. Nico Jakins is charged with the murder of 4 people, including Andrea Kruger. Last week, Nico Jakins' cousin was arrested and confessed to Jakins murdering Kruger and 2 other victims. Now, an unused 12-gauge shotgun shell, also known as a deer slug, found at the scene of Kruger's murder has connected Jakins to the slaying through DNA evidence. Jakins claims that he committed the murders as a sacrifice to the Egyptian demon god he calls Apophis.
Last night, acclaimed author Tom Clancy died at age 66. He died at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore after a brief illness. 17 of his 28 books appeared on the New York Times bestseller list. Clancy is best known for his thriller novels such as Hunt for Red October, Patriot Games, and The Sum of All Fears.
Candy Crush Saga is a top game on mobile devices, and now it is looking to become the top publicly traded company on the U.S. Stock Exchange. King, the company that created Candy Crush Saga, is the #1 downloaded app on Apple and Google Android. King believes that going public will only make the company more profitable.
Apple recently beat out Coca-Cola as the most valuable brand, and that is partially due to the changes Apple has made to its operating system. Paul Dobler has more on this.
Apple recently sold 9 million new iPhones in 3 days, but people are only talking about the new iOS 7 mobile software update.
Feels like it's a new phone. The whole background and the icons and stuff look a lot more fresh and clean, so I do like that part about it.
The new update should keep Apple competitive in the marketplace.
Apple get a breath of fresh air with their users, but it also helps it better compete with some of the other device manufacturers and other competitors.
One thing users will notice right away about the update is the multi-layered look when you want to open up an app. A second feature is the Control Center feature. Here, users just swipe up on any screen and they can access things like airport mode, turn Wi-Fi on and off, or even the camera. A third feature is the multitasking feature. Click the home button twice and swipe up to close out apps. Apple hasn't made a significant software update since 2007, so it seems they are ready to make some significant changes.
So whether or not you like the new iOS 7 software update from Apple, it's here to stay. That is until they do another software update. For the Omaha News, I'm Paul Dobler.
Apple has already updated the iOS 7 software to 7.0.2.
Cases of back and neck pain in 18 to 24-year-olds are on the rise, and doctors are calling it eye posture. Doctors say this recent rise is because of hunched over posture people have when using technology like iPads or smartphones. Healthcare provider Simply Health says 84% of 18 to 24-year-olds report suffering from back and neck pain. Experts say that the easiest cure is to sit up straight when you use your mobile devices. After the break, Paul Dobler will have highlights from the River City Rodeo and give us the breakdown of last night's Major League Baseball wildcard game, as well as the game that is going to be played tonight.
Also, we'll have a look into what you can expect from UNO men's basketball team this upcoming season next in sports. You're watching the Omaha News.
KVNO was in a really interesting place. This Victorian mansion near UNO.
3 floors. The studios were on the 3rd floor.
Bedrooms and bathrooms. So we had a challenge, but we ultimately ended up with an on-air studio.
We soundproofed it with carpet, and actually I think it sounded really warm, very radio friendly.
There were also rumors that the 3rd floor was haunted. Those were the maid's chambers, as we were told.
I had a sink in the office and leaded glass windows which looked out on the stable house in the back.
One colleague talking about having the window open one day, a warm spring or fall day, and a squirrel jumping through the window onto a turntable.
It was a great place, a great ambiance for a fine arts station.
It definitely had a charm to it.
NET Television expands your mind, enlightens your mind, inspires your mind, educates your mind, entertains your mind. NET Television opens up new worlds to you. Explore, travel, learn, discuss, debate. NET Television keeps you informed. Music, theater, dance, art, news. NET Television awakens your dreams, seeks to serve, strengthens our communities. We are Nebraskans. We are NET Television, Nebraska's PBS station.
You're watching the Omaha News.
Welcome back to the Omaha News. Paul Dobler is here with this week's Look at Sports.
Thanks, Kelly. Basketball is around the corner, and the UNO men's team is gearing up for their 3rd year in Division I. Jared Meyer has more on the Mavericks' upcoming season.
11 wins and 20 losses. That was a record for Darren Hansen and his UNO Mavericks last year. But this year's a new year, and the 9th-year head coach expects a better season.
Well, I think they should be, just from like you said, we have a lot of depth back. We do have 5 seniors on our basketball team, which experience always helps as you're trying to get through a long season, and January and February is always long.
The Mavs are returning 4 starters, including last year's scoring leader, Justin Simmons. The senior guard is not only looking forward to start the season, but is very excited about one particular game.
Well, as I was going down, I seen Hawaii, so I was like, never thought I'd go to Hawaii.
Not only do they play in Hawaii, but also play UNLV, Minnesota, and their Summit League conference foe, South Dakota State. All 3 teams were in last year's NCAA tournament.
Some high major teams, which are going to be a real challenge. We know the Summit League is extremely tough.
Senior center John Karhoff will be a threat offensively with his improved shooting skills.
That's definitely one of the things I worked on this offseason. Even stretching it out to 3 a little bit, keeping the defense honest on it. And, I think we've got some guys that can go in the post besides myself.
Last year, the Mavericks went 7-6 in the Ralston Arena. And this year, they'll be playing 13 games here.
We have a lot of guys on our team now for the first time that have been up and down the league, have been in all the venues, have seen where we're going to play, the level of competition, what to expect when we go in there. So there won't be as much guessing going on this year as was last year. So just with that, with the differentiation of our team, that should help us.
The Mavericks open their season November 8th at Northern Illinois. Saturday, rodeo fans were treated to the Justin Boots Championship at the CenturyLink Arena to watch real-life cowboys attempt to qualify for the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas. The cowboys waited nervously for introductions to wrap up and the River City Rodeo's competition to start. Competitions included bareback riding, bull riding, and steer wrestling. 3 Nebraska natives competed in the event, with Court Shear of Ellesmere, Nebraska bringing fans to their feet with a score of 84 to take first in the bronc riding semifinal. The rodeo didn't forget about the youngsters who hope to be future cowboys themselves. 3-time world champion Will Lowe captured another title with a score of 83. J.W. Harris took home the bull riding buckle with a score of 93. Michelle McLeod won barrel racing, and Derek Begay and Cesar de la Cruz took the team roping title. The UNO men's soccer team knocked off the defending Summit League champion Western Illinois on Saturday at the UNO soccer field. Junior Vance Rookwood scoring the game-winning goal with 16 minutes left to defeat the Leathernecks 2-1. The Mavericks improved their record to 2-5-1 and 1-0 in conference play. Their next game is today against Milwaukee right now at 4 p.m. at the UNO soccer field. The UNO women's volleyball team also hosted Western Illinois on Saturday but fell short in the hands of the Leathernecks. Maverick supporters may have brought the energy, but Western Illinois Leathernecks got the victory, advancing 7-9 overall and 1-0 in conference play. Last Saturday marked the first conference match of the season when Western Illinois defeated UNO 3-0. What started off neck and neck turned into back-to-back kills for Leathernecks Heather Smith and Samantha Fournier. The Mavericks are 5-11 overall and 0-1 in conference play. They'll be bracing themselves for their next game with defending Summit League champions Fort Wayne. Well, it's time to celebrate in Pittsburgh as the Pirates defeated the Reds 6-2 and will play the Cardinals tomorrow in St. Louis at 4 p.m. It is the first time the Pirates have made the NLDS since 1992. Tonight is the AL wildcard game between the Rays and the Indians, and first pitch is set for 7 p.m. in Cleveland, and the winner will head to Boston to play the Red Sox. And that wraps up things for the Omaha News Sports. Jared and Kelly?
Thanks, Paul.
Coming up after the break, learn how chiropractic care for babies can help them in the long run.
Also, learn more about e-cigarettes and why they are becoming so popular. You're watching the Omaha News.
Right now. One thing you would like our viewers to know about this state.
The importance of volunteerism.
What are you saying to folks?
I'm here to discuss these images.
When you can take that knowledge and that expertise and that passion in terms that they're all going to understand.
They need to know the real stories.
I'm Kathy Wyatt. Join us for Consider This each week on NET1.
3, 2, 1. Vehicles now going supersonic.
When you want to go above.
It was something new.
Or reach beyond.
Oh my gosh, it's fantastic.
When you want to peer inside.
There's something wrong here. This isn't normal.
Will it seem almost impossible? Or push the limit?
Large tornado! It's humongous! You need to get out now!
When you want to dive deep.
These divers are like astronauts.
Our human nature is to push into places that we don't know about.
Or go to the edge.
There are other worlds out there.
We don't know exactly what we're going to find.
When you want to find new frontiers.
I was truly astonished.
You just don't ever know.
Nova.
Wednesdays on NET1.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha is a place for tomorrow's leaders. A place where individuals converge on a path to success, getting the attention and direction they need as they begin their career. It's where students take pride in serving Omaha, a city we've invested in for more than 100 years. UNO is a place where greatness begins. The University of Nebraska at Omaha.
Electronic cigarettes seem to be a hot topic right now, and as Pop Doppler tells us, more people are becoming curious about the new alternative to smoking.
Electronic cigarettes. Or e-cigs as they're called, come in different sizes and colors and are battery operated. You pick a juice which come in different flavors and is made up of propylene glycol, glycerin, flavoring, and can contain nicotine. The smoke you see is not smoke. In fact, it is an odorless vapor. There are different opinions on whether they are good or not.
I don't really care for them. I'd rather smoke regular cigarettes because these don't really taste like regular cigarettes.
It's a lot cheaper, it's a lot more convenient. You don't have to dispose of any cigarettes. It's clean, you can do it inside, outside. So, I mean, there's a lot of more advantages to it.
The big deal with e-cigs is that there are currently no federal regulations in place. The FDA is rumored to be making a decision on this by the end of October. In light of the pending FDA regulations, many businesses are self-regulating.
Self-regulation, like in the store, when you walk in, there's a big sign that says, if you're under 18, you can't sample, you can't purchase. And that's what a lot of people are doing.
While electronic cigarettes could be a good alternative to smoking, it'll be interesting to see what the FDA does in the coming weeks. For the Omaha News, I'm Paul Dobler.
The Centers for Disease Control reports that from 2011 to 2012, e-cig use increased from 1.4% to 2.7% among middle school students. In 2011, a catastrophic tsunami caused a nuclear power plant to shut down. This weekend, a school of jellyfish did the same thing. In southeastern Sweden, one of the reactors at the nuclear power plant had to be turned off after a jellyfish clogged the pipes. Nuclear power plants need a constant flow of water to help the equipment cool down. If that flow of water stops, then disaster can occur. The nuclear power plant in Sweden had to close down last year due to a jellyfish influx, and the plant operators worry there may be more jellyfish problems in the future.
A new procedure is being praised as a way to potentially cure infertility in women. A 30-year-old infertile woman in Japan underwent an experimental procedure which resulted in the birth of a son last December. The woman had her ovaries removed, then replanted with treated tissue. The procedure is similar to what is done to cancer patients who want to preserve their healthy ovaries before undergoing cancer treatments.
Despite lack of support by the medical and scientific community, chiropractic treatment of children is growing in popularity, and more chiropractors are specializing in chiropractic pediatrics.
The problems that we have as adults started when we were little ones.
Dr. Joel Marley believes adjusting children at a young age corrects little issues before they turn into big ones.
There may have been some trauma. Of course, there always is trauma during the birth process. So there's going to be a gentle squeeze right here on the sacrum.
Studies show that chiropractic can help children not only with back and neck pain, but also issues like asthma, chronic ear infections, nursing difficulties, colic, and bedwetting.
It can last her lifetime. We all deserve to have a nervous system that's free of interference, and so we can express life to the full potential. With the way the country's going, with the sickest country, we have literally the sickest generation of kids in history. Something's got to change.
For parents to do their own research and learn, why it's important to incorporate chiropractic into the lifestyles. If they have an objective to raise a healthy child, which I believe every parent's objective is, then understand what that means and what that objective entails.
Taking your child to a chiropractor within hours of their birth may prevent serious injuries later in life. For the Omaha News, I'm Tasia Vales.
A 2009 survey of chiropractors and parents revealed the primary reason for chiropractic care of children was wellness care.
Thanks for tuning in to the Omaha News this week. If you're looking for more, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/theomahanews.
While you're there, you can check out the news stories our reporters covered, submit story ideas, or give us feedback. We'd love to hear from you. From all of us here at the Omaha News, good night.
Television gives students a chance to work in a real studio. Working on the TV crew, students get hands-on experience with lights, camera, and action. Working on a variety of shows gives students a leg up looking for jobs. In fact, many former crew members work at local stations. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience for students to learn the science and art of TV production. UNO TV, student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
When will you look deep into space? When will you travel back in time? When will you experience the power of red? When? Anytime. Online at video.netnebraska.org. Search, select, and share with the NET Video Player. Watch our shows on your schedule.